The government says jobs are being created. The data says something very different. And while that debate plays out in Washington, mortgage rates just broke through a level that has been resisting them for months. Today, we break it all down. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Welcome to this week's weekend update. Let's get into what happened this week and what it means for the people you work with and what to watch for next week. Let's start with the headline. The 10-year Treasury yield is sitting at 3.969% as we record this. That is a meaningful number. Why? Because 4% has acted like a ceiling for weeks. Getting and staying below it opens the door to the next target range, which analysts are watching around 3.94 and 3.87. Mortgage bonds broke above their resistance level this week. These are the kinds of technical moves that, if they hold, can lead to meaningful lower mortgage rates. 30-year fixed rates are hovering right around 6%, and the data suggests the next leg lower could take us to a 5-handle territory, meaning rates starting with a 5. Here is what your clients need to understand. When the 10-year Treasury falls, mortgage rates tend to follow. But that is not automatic, and it's not instant. The spread between the 10-year and mortgage rates still matters. The direction, though, is encouraging. Now let's talk about something that has been building for a long time and finally got more confirmation this week. The official government jobs numbers have been telling one story. The underlying data has been telling another. This week, the Bureau of Labor Statistics released what's called the Business Employment Dynamics Report, or BED, for the second quarter of 2025. This is a more detailed look at actual job creation and loss. Here is what it showed. The official BLS report said 74,000 private sector jobs were created during that period. The BED data showed a loss of over 320,000 jobs. That's not a small revision. That's nearly 400,000 job swing in the wrong direction. When you break it down further, 82% of states saw quarter-over-quarter job losses. 9 of the 13 major industry categories posted declines. These are not the numbers of a healthy labor market. What does this mean for the people you advise? The Fed has been reluctant to cut rates aggressively because, on paper, jobs look fine. As the actual data gets clearer, the case for more rate cuts builds. And more rate cuts over time tend to create a friendlier environment for long-term borrowing. One other note on the labor data, initial jobless claims came in at 212,000 for the week. That number continues to likely undercount the true picture because it does not capture people who move to gig work rather than filing for unemployment. The real number is probably higher. Wholesale inflation, or the producer price index, came in hotter than expected this week. Core PPI was up 0.8% for January, well above the 0.3% forecast. That spooked some people, but here's the context the headlines left out. When you strip out food and energy and trade services, the reading was only up 0.3%, which was right in line with expectations. The bulk of the surprise came from trade services, which measures the margins that wholesalers and retailers charge. That cost tends to get passed all the way through to the consumers. Also worth noting, despite that hotter than expected PPI print, bond markets barely flinched. The 10-year yield actually moved lower on Friday. That tells you something about how much weight the market is placing on this particular data point right now. On rents, new lease data shows rents are running down about 1.5% year over year, the softest reading in years. Yet the government's inflation formula, using a methodology from 1985, is still reporting shelter inflation running over 3%. That gap is artificially pushing overall inflation readings higher by roughly 0.4%. When that methodology gets corrected over time, the inflation picture will look better than the headlines suggest. Each week, we put together resources that the professionals in our audience can share with their clients and use in their own practice. These are available on the right side of the dashboard or below the video, depending on the device you are using. This week's featured articles include some powerful conversation starters for your clients. The market shifted, your excuses didn't. This one is direct and timely for clients who have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for the perfect moment. This is the piece to share. Is your home really protected, or are you just paying for the feeling of protection? A great discussion opener on homeowner coverage and whether it actually delivers at claim time. What your attorney never told you about life insurance and estate taxes. This one is for your clients with larger estates. Most people never connect these two things until it's too late. What if your mortgage could actually help you retire earlier? This one ties directly into a tool we are also featuring this week. And if something happened tomorrow, would your family be protected or exposed? This is a family protection conversation that every client needs to have. Speaking of retirement, we put together a suite of financial calculators that are available to our partners at no charge. This week, we're highlighting our FIRE calculator. FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. It helps professionals walk their clients through the numbers needed to understand what true financial independence would require and how current debt structure plays into that picture. If you'd like to access to the full calculator suite, just ask. These tools are designed to help the conversations you're already having with clients around wealth building, cash flow, and long-term planning. Next week is a big one. Here's what to watch. Monday brings manufacturing data from S&P Global and ISM, giving us a read on how that sector is holding up. Wednesday is packed. We get the ADP jobs report, services data from ISM, and the Fed Beige Book, which gives a ground-level picture of economic conditions from all 12 Fed districts. Thursday brings weekly jobless claims again, along with productivity data from the fourth quarter. And Friday is the big one to circle. The February jobs report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics drops. And based on what we are seeing from the underlying data, there is reason to believe the official number may not reflect the full picture. Analysts are forecasting around 60 to 70,000 private sector jobs. Watch how bond markets react, because that reaction often matters more than the number itself. We appreciate you taking the time to tune in each week. The video and all this week's resources are available. We've also got our key steps available for you, rsrlinks.com/keysteps for financial monitoring, and everything else is linked in the dashboard or below the video, depending on your device. Remember, strategy beats trade always. We appreciate you listening, and we'll speak again next week.